My son is napping, so we're going to try to, 1, be quiet, and 2, get this done before he wakes up from his nap. Hello, welcome to the Caffeinated Cast-Ons YouTube channel. My name is Therese, also known as Caffeinated Cast-Ons. Welcome! So glad you are joining me this week. Let's see. It is Saturday, October 5th, and this is episode 44 of Caffeinated Cast-Ons. You can find me on Instagram as @CaffeinatedCast-Ons. And down below in the description box, I will have where you can find me on Ravelry as well. Let's get started. I don't have any coffee today. Like, I am out of ground coffee. I don't have any cold brew in the fridge. And I'm out of Coke Zero. So I am not caffeinated today. I'm actually very tired. But to yawn. Yeah, I am very tired. So I don't know, when my son wakes up from his nap, I might load him up in the car and go get some coffee. Because I need some. And I ordered coffee this morning, but it's not going to get here for a few days. So yeah, I'm rambling at this point. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me this week. Here on my YouTube channel, I talk about my knitting projects, what I'm making, progress that I have on projects, yeah. And think of it as a video version of Ravelry project pages. So down below you will find links to my Ravelry project pages that have the pattern details, yarn details, needle details, and any modifications I make to the patterns that I show. This week, we're also going to be talking about, we'll do a September recap, plans for October knitting, and then just, regular, like, any finished objects and stuff that I have got sprinkled in. So this is a little rambly, so let's just go into, well, okay, do I want to start with the September recap and then get into what I've done so far? Yeah, okay, so let's start with recapping September. So September, I only finished one object, and that was my Caffeinated shawl. And that's fine. Like, that was a huge, well, not a huge project, but it just, because each round you kept increasing, so it just grew each time. I was so glad to be able to get that done and off my needles. I had 4 projects that I worked on in the month of September. The Caffeinated shawl, my Novice Cardigan, some vanilla socks, and my Afghan square. So a lot of those are coming over into October knitting. Okay, so let's talk what my plans are for October knitting. I have my knitting journal here. Nothing fancy. I just break it up into sections with works in progress, goals, finished objects, and any projects that I have in hibernation there. So I currently have 2 projects in hibernation. That is an Afghan that I'm making. I can't remember the actual pattern name because it's not available on Ravelry. So I couldn't tell you. But and then I'm making a jelly roll blanket by KF Jones, and I am making the DK version of that. And then as for works in progress, I have my Novice Cardigan and some scrappy vanilla socks. That is what I came into the month with. I just put back my Afghan square, the Afghan I'm making, back in hibernation because I only worked like maybe 2 rows of that in September, and I haven't picked it up again just because I've been so busy working on my cardigan and socks. As for goals for September, I would like to finish my cardigan, finish the pair of socks that I have on the needles, and finish at least half of my Afghan square that I'm working on. So I'm hoping to bring that back out of hibernation. And then, so for October so far, I actually do have 2 finished objects, so let's start there and we'll go through whatever else I have on my needles. So I have 2 finished objects to show you this week, and I was not expecting to have finished objects this like first full week. Excuse me. I was not expecting to have finished objects this first full week of October, but this project that these 2 objects that I have kind of came spontaneously and by surprise, and I love it, and so that's why there's 2. So let me just show you what it is. So this is the No Sweat Cup Cozy by, oh my gosh, Lynette something with a V. I can't remember. The project page is linked down below. But this is like meant as a cup cozy, specifically for like iced coffee drinks. You know, like the sweat and condensation. And so this is made to not have to deal with that. And this is knit. Oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on all the details. I knit this on, I want to say a size US 4 needle, and this is just scraps. This is fingering weight held double, and this is on a self-striping colorway that I just had left over in my stash. I want to say, I think the pattern calls for 30 to 40 grams of fingering weight held double, or another certain amount of grams for DK. So I held this double, and okay, the light is changing. I think the sun's going behind clouds, so the light might change. Okay, so I used fingering weight held double. This is just self-striping yarn that I had left over in my stash. The ball that I had, I believe, was 37 point something grams, and this used 27 point something grams. So I think I had 10 grams left over that I just put in a magic knot ball, but it was perfect. Like, I had plenty of yarn to make this project, and I meant to bring a cup to show you, but I had a 16-ounce iced coffee, and I actually, like, this was too tall for that. I could fold it down and that fit better, but the cup, like, it still came to the lid of the cup. And I liked it so much, and I wanted something to accommodate the smaller cups, because like this will be great if you get like a large iced coffee or like a venti size. So I started and finished another one, and this is like a project you can do in a day. And so I made another one, again with self-striping yarn. I think this pattern looks so good in self-striping yarn, especially held double, because you just don't know how it's going to work up. And I started to make it smaller. Hang on, let me form my thoughts. To make it smaller, all I did was just start later in the project. And so you can see the comparison there. I just started with a lower stitch count and then followed the rest of the pattern. Very beginner friendly, super easy to follow pattern. And this, I think, could make a really good Christmas gift. If you get someone like a reusable cup, stick it on there, maybe include like a gift card to a coffee shop, or even just use this as a gift card pouch, and like let them know what it's for. I think it's super cute. I did get complimented on this at the coffee shop that I went to. So I think it's super cute. I did not block these yet. It is just, so, I mean, it would probably relax a bit more because it is ribbed. So I could block them, could not. I mean, they're kind of sort of being blocked with all the soaking up of the condensation from the iced coffee, so who knows, but I don't think it's necessary. So those are my 2 finished objects for this week. Yeah, did them essentially in a day. Like, I started afternoon on a day and then finished the next day, but you could easily crank these out in a day, I think, especially this smaller one. So those are my 2 finished objects for this week and my first 2 finished objects for October. Okay, let's get into works in progress. I have 2 whips going on my needles right now. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is my Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. I am knitting the chunky edition. So last week, in episode 43, I talked about that I wanted to finish the length of the first sleeve that I'm working on. And I did that. And let me show you. It is a mess. So I actually finished the sleeve. It looks so good. If I wasn't wearing a sweatshirt, I would try it on for you, but I'm not going to deal with that. But anyway, so last week I had knit this much of the sleeve, or this is where I was in the sleeve. And so since last week, I knit the rest of the length, did the decreases, and then did the ribbing of the cuff and then bound off. And let me tell you, it really is bringing this cardigan to life. I feel like I go back and forth with this project of like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Did I knit it too big? Was my gauge wrong? Like, even though these things are all correct and on track for what they should be according to the pattern, I was nervous. But it is looking so good. So first sleeve is done. I picked up the second sleeve. So this is where I picked up the sleeve, and then I've knit probably like 10 rounds of the sleeve. And then I still haven't finished the hem. After I finish the sleeve, I'm going to try it on again, double check the hem, and see if I want to knit it a little bit longer or if I'm ready to bind off. So that's just on stitch holders. But yep, that is my Novice Cardigan Chunky Edition. Where was I going with this? Okay, the next work in progress I'm going to talk about is my scrappy vanilla socks that I'm working on. And last episode, I wanted to finish the heel because that's where I was. And I just exceeded that again with this one. So let me show you sock 1, because I am working both socks at the same time, just on 9-inch circular. So last week I was down here. So I did the heel flap and the turn, and I picked up my gusset stitches, decreased my gusset stitches, and I am working on the foot. And so I finished, this was the last color in the scraps that I had that I was working from. So I've started back with the first color again, and I'm working my way through that. So I'm about halfway done with the foot length. And so that is going along. So that was sock 1, and then sock 2. Here we go. Same thing. So I was, down here. So I did the heel flap and turn, gusset, pick up and decrease. And these are about in the same spot. Yep, they are. So, yeah, those are my scrappy socks. And I am following the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern, which is vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars, and I am just pulling from scraps that I had and making a pair of scrappy socks. And then anything that is left over from these scraps after I finish the socks will just go in my magic knot ball, as that's where the scraps for these went. Oh, I forgot to say, on this one, I think I started with 24 grams of yarn, and I only used like 17 and change, maybe 18 grams. And so this leftovers went into my magic knot ball as well. Let's see. Yeah, so those are my vanilla socks, halfway through the foot on both of those. Okay, so I talked about my October goals, and that is to finish my cardigan. I really think I can get that done in October, and then finish the socks. Those will definitely be able to be knocked out, and then finish about half of the Afghan square that I've still got to knit. And I think with the progress I've made in this last week, these are all definitely doable, because my ultimate goal is to get ready to cast on a ranunculus, and I'd like to do that end of October, beginning of November, to knit on that. So specifically for this week, my goals are to finish the sleeve length on the cardigan. So I think that's definitely doable. I think total it's like 70 rounds that I knit for the sleeve length. I think so. And so I've knit 10 of that so far. So if I do 10 rounds a day on that sleeve, then I should finish that for this next week. And then for my vanilla scrappy socks, I want to finish the foot and get to the toe. Yeah, get to the toe on both socks. So I don't have to start the toe, I just want to get to the toe. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just start the yarn on the toe. Yeah. And then, yeah, I think those are just the goals. Those are the only 2 works in progress I have right now. And then, yeah, just kind of clearing that up. I don't think I'm going to pick up my Afghan square this week. Again, just really trying to make progress with these 2 whips. And so that's okay. Again, it's not chilly enough to need a wool blanket right now, so I'm not too concerned with the Afghan. Okay. I think that's all things knitting wise that I have to talk about. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about reading, watching, and listening. Reading, I am reading The Bone Code by Kathy. I don't know if it's Reichs. I don't know. But it is, these books are what Bones is based off of, like, because the anthropologist in the books is Temperance Brennan. And it's funny because in this book, they mention the show Bones. And so I thought that was kind of a fun Easter egg. Like, that's what you're based off of. I haven't read any of her other books, and I think this is technically book 20, like the Temperance Brennan series. But yeah, reading that. I'm still kind of like in the build-up part of like what the case is. So I'm not 100% sure like where it's going to go yet. So I'm very interested to see that. Watching. Oh my gosh. I started Superstore on Hulu. Like a couple of people have recommended that show to me, and then my friend messaged me and was like, you need to watch this show. Like, one of the characters reminds me of you. And yeah, it's funny. I've laughed a good chunk of times. Some of the stuff is like, like it's fine. But yeah, I'm enjoying the show so far, and to me, it's really funny. I worked in retail whenever I was younger. Not in a store. Well, I take that back. That's not in like a grocery store, superstore setting, but I used to work at a shoe store, so I can like definitely understand like some of the jokes and just like the vibes that they're giving off with like working in a superstore. So I think that part is definitely funny, and I feel like it applies to like a lot of other jobs too, like just the people that you interact with. But I'm really enjoying that show. Yeah. I cannot stop yawning. Okay. Let's wrap her up with 3 simple joys because I need to find a way to get some caffeine. I am contemplating like getting coffee delivered, but that's just so expensive. We'll see. I also need to figure out what we're doing for lunch. Anyways, but let me give you my 3 simple joys. Simple joy number 1. This week I had taken one of my cup cozies. I had taken one of my cup cozies to a coffee shop with me to try it out. And I get my drink order, like they put it at the counter. I go to the counter to get my drink, and I put my drink in my little cozy and I have it folded down, and the barista was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to cry. Like, that is so cute." And I was like, "Thank you. Like, I made it." And she's like, "You made it? Like, how? Like, you made that?" Like, and it was the nicest like compliment to have, like, as a maker, for someone to be like in awe or give you compliments of like stuff you put work into, like, is so nice. So that was definitely a simple joy. Simple joy number 2, and I feel like this is so random. Today's not a good example of it because this is like 2-day-old hair, but I've been doing heatless curls on my hair and I really liked it. I got my hair cut recently and I have like bangs that I'm working with, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with my hair. And heatless curls has been super nice. It's nothing fancy. I literally just use like the tie string from a robe and have been doing that. And it looks nice. This has been slept on and, you know, run around the house and all that stuff. Like, I think it's been like a couple days since I've done the heatless curls on my hair, but they fall well and I like it. It's nice. And it makes me feel like I'm taking care of myself, which is hard as like a first-time mom, especially whenever you have a toddler. It's like, I look like garbage because I'm keeping this human alive. Yeah. And then simple joy number 3, I ordered a desk chair for my office, my work setup station, because I just sit on like a dining chair and it's not comfortable at all for sitting at my desk all day. And so I cannot wait to get that. It should be arriving in a few days, I think. So I'm super excited to actually like have an actual desk chair to work on. Hey, that is about it. I'm going to try to either take a nap or just sit and knit for a little bit while my son is still sleeping. So that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much for watching. Do come back each week and be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. There are almost 300 of you, which is so cool and exciting. I'm trying to think if I want to do something big whenever there are 500 total people that are subscribed. So I don't know, stay tuned. We're growing over here and it's exciting. So that's all I've got. I don't have a coffee to cheers you, so just until next time, stay caffeinated, because I am not right now.